So here's a question for you. In your opinion, what is the best blade steel on the market? If you spend any time online looking at this subject, you're going to see people arguing about the pros and cons of all different kinds of alloys, like it's a life or death situation. You'll see discussions about heat treat, you'll see discussions about edge retention, flexibility, corrosion resistance, and a host of other things. It's a very popular discussion. But the truth of the matter, in my opinion, is that it doesn't matter as much as you might think it does. And I'm here to tell you why. So first of all, for those of you who are new, my name is Trevor Barrett. I'm a Forged and Fire champion, and I've been bladesmithing as my full-time profession for 10 years now. So this is a bit of a controversial subject, but what I'm gonna say is my opinion. So even if I catch some heat, let's turn that heat into a discussion instead. If you disagree with something I'm about to say, let me know in the comments. Tell me your opinion, tell me your experiences, etc., etc. Let's open up a discussion and let's have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, it's a fun subject. First of all, let's talk about what makes a good blade steel. Primarily, it comes down to carbon content. That's where you're gonna see your best performance in your blade, because the carbon is what makes it functional, makes it able to harden. It all comes down to edge retention, toughness, flexibility, corrosion resistance, how easy is it to sharpen, a lot of different alloys, a lot of different pros and cons, but you're not going to be able to max out each one of these with one type of steel. Each one has its own thing that it does. So let's discuss some of the different things that you might consider when you're looking for blade steel in whatever tool or blade you're using to get. You're looking to get. First of all, your more simple high carbon steels. These are going to be things like 1080, 1084, 1095, even 5160 spring steel and variants of therein. Some of the pros of these ones that are commonly used by many professional bladesmiths are they're easy to heat treat, they're reliable, well known, they're tough, they're easy to work with mostly. They take a nice sharp, fine quality edge, and they're pretty easy to sharpen out in the field. You know, let's say you're out in a survival situation, or you're just not at your shop. It's not that difficult for you to sharpen them. Some of the cons, they will rust more easily, definitely. They're more prone to different types of corrosion. And the edge retention on them is not going to be as amazing as what we're going to talk about soon, what's called a super steel. But I'll tell you this, I primarily use 1095, I'd say 5160. Those are the two main ones that I use when I'm making my blades. And the reason is that they are the most predictable, they're somewhat forgiving, and it still performs extremely well in the real world usage. I use it myself. I'm a hunter and I'm an avid outdoorsman. I rely 1095, 5160, depends exactly on the situation, but these are some of my main steels. Not that I won't try other steels, but these are the main ones that I use. Next, you've got things like stainless steel. So you've got 440C or even higher ones like that. The best pro is that stainless steels, though not truly stainless, most of them, even high quality stainless steel can form some form of a corrosion depending on the situation. But they have a pretty good edge retention depending on the exact alloy that you use, and they are much lower maintenance. The cons is they can be kind of hard to sharpen. They can be kind of hard to work with if you're a bladesmith. It just requires a completely different setup in order to get them hard and usable, and not a lot of people like that. But you're gonna get a really high corrosion resistance, which is great for when you're out in the field. So you probably already have a brand in mind when you look at your blade that you like so much. Mora is a great blade. I don't have any issue with stainless. I don't use it myself. I don't make it myself. I do use, but I don't make it. Reason is I'm just not interested in the way that it's done. It's just not my thing. But if you want a fishing knife, a kitchen knife, plenty of EDCs, stainless steel is going to be the way to go. if you don't want to worry about a lot of, maintenance. And then you've got things like what's called super steels. You might think of M390, you might think of Magna Cut, etc., etc. There's a bunch of different kinds that people call super steels. Now, these are incredible blades. They're very good edge retention, they're very high corrosion resistance in some situations, and they have what you might consider not simple, but more advanced metallurgy. The cons on these, though, is that they are more expensive generally, and they can be harder to sharpen without proper tools. And that would be an issue for a lot of different people. And honestly, this is where things get interesting to me. The gains for most users, in my opinion, are marginal. So while they look a lot better on paper, in my opinion, most people are not going to notice a significant difference between one of these super steels and a 1095, 5160. You will feel it, and over time it becomes more apparent, but overall you're not going to notice as significant of a difference as you might think. Most people, at least. If you do a torture test, and really get into the weeds with it, then yeah, you'll notice a difference for sure. But day-to-day, EDC, even a camping knife, you're not going to notice it quite as much as you might think you would notice, in my opinion, in my experience, which is where my opinion comes from. Anyway, now the reason I say that is because we get into a bit of a culture where there's nothing wrong with it, but we get into a bit of a culture of min-maxing, where sometimes we obsess perhaps a little too much about what is the perfect steel for the perfect situation, the perfect this and the perfect. But in the end, if you find yourself in a situation, a survival situation out in the woods, or you need a knife and you don't have a knife, if someone hands you a 1095 steel or a 1080, you're set. You've got a great blade. If someone hands you a Magna Cut, great, even better. But still, something is better than nothing. And a quality blade can be made out of what is considered more of a simple high carbon steel. Think about the historical side of things. People built empires, they fought wars, and they survived with blades that were far less advanced than what we have access to today. Far less advanced than even a 1095. And still, they flourished. In fact, even the Bronze Age, people flourished with tools made from bronze, copper, etc. Now, of course, technological advances came and people adapted and they changed and they improved. So it's not to say there's not a difference, but it's just not as much as you might think when you really take into consideration. When you need a knife, a simple high carbon steel blade is going to be a really nice option. Now, the reason I bring all of this up is because it's my take. What is the best knife steel? Honestly, it doesn't really matter to me. If you have a high carbon blade, whatever it is, and it's well made, then you're set. What matters more is it well made, is it properly heat treated, and can it perform the task? That's it. I don't focus as heavily on the knife bro min-maxing side. I appreciate the craft, the process of forging it out, the feel of it in your hand, the story behind it, and what it evokes in a person. That's why you'll see me now, I do less content about how hand-forged blades outperform many factory-made blades, which is true because they can be done well, but they can be done poorly and they perform much worse than a factory-made blade, which is also why a lot of people might assume that I, as a bladesmith, don't like a simple blade or a factory-made blade, something that you could buy even at Walmart. But that's not true. I think it's fine. If you want to buy a blade, chuck it in your work van, and there you go. Ever so often, you just give it a quick sharpen. Great. Doesn't bother me at all. That's a purpose-made blade, and it's fulfilling its purpose. So do that. However, what I do is I'm focusing on my craft as the shaping of something that can be handed down for generations. It will outperform most factory blades. It's just the fact of the matter is better steel, better quality control, more experience behind it. But then you'll get other ones that seem, depending on the geometry, depending on the type of steel, that seem to perform equal to something that I could make. but it's very default. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. So it all depends. But for me, it's not min-maxing. It's not about spreadsheets. Because at the end of the day, a well-made knife is a well-made knife. And that matters a whole lot more than the brand or the maker. Anyways, that's just my opinion on the best type of steel. It doesn't really exist. It depends. It depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you like. So if you enjoyed this and you want to see more about making blades, forging, the craft, the history, and all of that stuff, please subscribe, like, and let me know in the comments, what did you disagree with me on? What is your favorite steel? I don't know. Let's talk. Trevor Barrett, Barrett Knives. Thanks for watching.